Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Having a great day or great night, and let's get started. So, I will try to make this a short story. I already explained everything about this in the previous videos in details, and I can see that most of you guys didn't watch the previous videos. Okay, so if you want to fully understand this one, go back and check the previous ones. It is very, very important because this video is a continuation of everything that I've been talking about for months. Okay. Again, there is no change. It's continuation. So it's very, very important. Before we jump into the charts, it appears to be the same exercise that we did before, but it's something new. So it is not the same. Okay. You guys are going to have a, let's say, beautiful surprise this time. So let me show you what we're going to do today. First, we will take a look into the cycles, how they work, what we have, and then we will take a look in the past. Then we jump back into the charts, and after we're talking about the bigger picture, the four here, different markets, fundamental. So the fundamentals we already talked about, so it's not necessary right now. But in the end, we will take a closer look into XRP and Tether dominance. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I saw this morning that made me feel even more bullish and like we are at the door of this event that we are waiting for. And I was quite hyped, excited about it. And yeah, it feels like it is the bullseye moment. Okay, so let's start with these pictures once again to remind you guys about what is going on. So here we are, Wall Street cheat sheet. Folks, as you guys know, there's a lot of people right now who are bearish, very bearish. They are in despair, disbelief. They are freaking out. They are going crazy without reason. As you guys can see, the sentiment right now, it's completely horrible. Let me take a quicker look here. You guys can check it as well, but just a second. Let me bring it here so you don't take my word for it. You guys can see. So fear greedy index is at 30 right now. We talked about this before. I told you guys to watch this because this is very, very important. Okay. Also the basis for the claims and the fundamentals facts we are going to talk about right now. Okay. So it is not my word. It is the facts. So if people right now are scared, it 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 doesn't match with hope. It's it's something similar to hope. It's an emotion, right? But it is not hope. Hope is something totally different from what we have today. So people doesn't have hope that they can make a recovery, right? So people are afraid to lose everything. That's why they are bearish, because they see a bear that is not in a room. It is not in a picture. And right after what we have, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. Do we have any of these emotions right now? Not a single one, not even just one. So if we consider this, all the five or just four as a whole, 100%, we don't have not even 1%. So this is a fact. These are not opinions, right? In the other hand, what we have? We have, it is not denial, but kind of after panic. There is not panic yet. People are just scared to death, but it's not panic. We went through panic a few years ago, but not right now, not today. We could say people are depressed. Yes, we can't. It is fair to say people are in depression because how many of you? Because it happened with me. Friends, people that were friendly, turning into foes. People that were like that had a focus on fundamentals and facts, and now their fundamentals are just based on emotions, out of emotions. Like, oh, we are going down because some guy said that we're going down. Oh, it is over because something that we don't have any idea about the future, it is going to happen right now. So let me give you an example. Some people that didn't did their research were saying every single time the Fed starts to cut rates, there's a crash. That it's half accurate. And the worst kind of misinformation is the one that have a core of truth. That's the ones who are going to mislead people even more. So what's the core of truth? That it is true that there is a crash after, remember the words, the keywords, after it's post event, right? So after is not right at the beginning. After, in the end, by the end of the process, the end of the course, the event, etc. Okay? So all the times that the Fed starts to cut rates straight in a row without a pause, we saw a crash like after, I don't remember, 6 months, 8 months. I did this research and I already shared it with you guys, but right now I can't remember. It's been a long, long time and a lot of stuff to remember. But that's a fact. This time, what happened this time? They started to increase rates, then they stopped, then we had a pause. Right after, they started to cut interest rates. What they did after? A pause, long pause, and right now they're starting to or continuing to cut interest rates again. So this time things are different. The outcome will be the same, but time won't be the same because the line of events are not the same. So the clock that we use to measure the past, it is not the same that we can use to measure what's going on today. Okay? So have this in mind, observe this, take notes, because this is not the moment that we are right now. We are not even closer. Okay? Not even closer to this. The next one, this one, we talked about this one. One of the fundamentals that I showed you guys here, it's the ETFs, ETPs, all these products, time, the timing. The timing is right here as we talked about before. Just think about this. Right now, there's a lot of people who already freaked out in this last red activity that we had a few days ago, right? People freaked out and started to call what? At the top is here, this run is over, nothing will see new highs, price appreciation. It's gone. Okay, it's not there. But read what's written here. Bear trap. So pay attention. For who? What kind of person? It's a bear trap. It's for a person who is bearish in a bullish trend. So what happens in a bullish trend? Bear traps. What happens in a bearish trend? Bull traps. So this is the standard. This is the law. Okay, so this is no coincidence. Okay, this movement right here is for what people like to call shake people out, to just make them. We do know that part of this event here, it's wealth transfer. When the average Joe freaks out because he have no idea what is going on, and then he's going to sell what should be his long-term investments for those who are willing to wait because they know what's coming. It's a fair exchange, right? The ones who have knowledge are going to profit, and the ones who are what is the word in English? It's the ones who doesn't care about their financial education are going to lose. There is no way a person who is smart enough to understand what is going on to lose for one that have no idea what's going on. And you guys remember that popular quote from a old movie, "Get Joe money right." You guys remember this? That's how it happens since the early days. Get Joe money right. Okay, so I don't agree with this, but I understand that the market is not going to let the average Joe take advantage of people who are smarter. I mean, no offense to anyone in this earth, but it is how it is. This will never change, folks. People who are willing to learn are going to be ahead of those who doesn't want to learn. This is a natural law that will never ever change. Okay? So have this one in mind as well. Here, told you guys to watch this because patterns are everywhere into everything and they do repeat. It could be daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, just like in the charts. And once again, I will tell this again. Back in the day, I told you guys, I am developing a method that will change the way that we do technical analysis and read the charts. And I did it. I did it. So that's about the tweet that I shared this morning, that I see things that people can't see. So I will have an understanding that they will never have. Never. Okay? But let's move forward. What is this? Is this a triangle? Is this a fractal? Is this a pattern? This is people's behavior continuation, folks. This is how people behave. When things are grid, it's bad. When people are feared, scared to death, freaking out, it is a great sign. Always and always will be. And if we take into consideration one thing here, the most important thing, it is also that nothing moves into straight lines. Nothing. Not even down, not even upside, never. That's why I like to call action in the middle as the battle of midway. And right now, XRP and many, many altcoins are fighting through. It's very, or let's say, it's even before the battle of midway. Okay? I explained this about Elliott waves, etc. in previous videos long ago. I broke down in details, so there is nothing to go wrong here. Okay, again, not talking about opinion, just facts. When it is your opinion, I'm going to say, okay, so just stop for a moment. This is my opinion. Let's talk about this. Not the case here. Okay, so very soon, those people who are scared are going to be greed, because we can't forget crypto fear greedy index over time or just the crypto fear greed index measures the emotions of the average Joe. Yes, this too doesn't measure everybody emotions. It never did it. For example, please forgive me, folks. My throat is very sore. Uh, just one example. I am bearish. I'm not bearish. I am very optimistic and bullish. So my emotions are not described here, because this is meant for the average person, for the average Joe, for those person who goes with the flow, who follow the crowd, who are participating into this hive mind. One example of the hive mind, Mr. Buffoon. If he tell his followers that tomorrow we are not going to have the sun but the moon, they all are going to tell, always the moon will shine. And then the sun shows up and they will say, oh, he's 100% accurate. You are wrong. That's the hive mind. They don't care. So for every tool, there is a proper way to read and understand. It's like writing and reading. We gotta be able to do that, because otherwise we are going to make the wrong readings. And with the wrong readings, we are going to make the bad decisions, make mistakes. And that's a problem. So imagine having the right tools and doing the job wrong. Does it feel right? Of course not, right? So now I have something very interesting for you guys that you guys are going to love it. Love it. And Please excuse me, folks. Please. I will drink some water. Just give me a second. Okay, let's go. So the inspiration for this analysis that I did, which is something that we all know, but how many of us stop at like just a few minutes or hours to do a research about it? Because there's a lot of very interesting things about it, and I love new stuff. So here we are. So first, just for you guys to understand what we're going to talk about, let me see if yes, this is correct. Okay, so it's the Tulipa bubble, right? But we have the solar cycle activity back in the day. Okay, so these are the two things that we're going to talk about. The inspiration for this was Mr. Ripple Riddler, if I'm not wrong. So he made a video, dropped a video based on many fundamentals, historical events, and I really love history. So I was thinking I gotta do a quick research about that. So what happened back in the day, what's happening behind the scenes, you know? And I found this very, very interesting chart, okay? Which is, just for guys to see, let's just go on the first one for a second. So after the last number, it's the year. Okay, so 1636 is this like we have a double bar here. Okay, and then just a single one in between. And as you guys can see, this happened around May. Okay, so we have quarter here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Okay, so around May, before June, right, was the peak of the bubble. Before June, right? Perhaps there is more into this message that we could even realize, or maybe our perception is not that accurate or yet, or maybe it will. Okay, so we are going to come back into this one, but have this in mind. The year is 1637, right? Yes, 1637, around May. Yes. So in the middle here, right in between was 25, right? Just a little after, we had this burst in solar activity, but was reaching its way down to zero. As we do know, that's what happens with the sun when he's in the resting mode. So right after the apex, there is this road for zero solar activity, which I call minimus solaris. But here, the scientific name or the proper name, I do believe it's a Maunder minimum. Okay, I don't know if there are different words to talk about this, but I'm not the scientific guy on the process. I'm just make a read form to explain to people as maximum period from 0 to the apex and minimum from the apex to 0. Okay, just to make things easier so we don't have to do a long research and study about this. So just before, so the sun was already going into resting mode. Okay, so this was kind of a lot of activity, more than 100%, but we're into this resting mode or downtrend. Okay, or let's say the sun lives by the bull and the bear. If it's 4 years to the maximum, it is going to be another 4 for the minimum. And then 5 or 5, 6 or 6, it's always like that. Okay, so from let's say 43, 42, all the way to almost 120, 18, down to close to 0. This is pretty wild. And people who had the knowledge back in the day, I bet my shoes that they made the right choice. They sold way before the bubble popped. Because we do know there are some people who know things in advance And even that time, and even before this time, it is not something new. Okay, but yeah, so 1637, it's probably close to here, if I'm not wrong. Okay, if you guys can draw a, I forgot the name in English for the thing to measure here, but if you guys can do and share with me, I would appreciate it. Okay, I don't have skills with Photoshop and this kind of stuff. I had in the past, but I stayed a long time without using, then I completely forgot everything. So if you guys can help me, I would appreciate it because we could be 100% accurate here. Okay, so down to zero, and then the thing popped, and that's what we had. The, the bubble topped, burst, and then we had all these feelings described right here. Complacence, anxiety, denial, panic, depression, and then was game over. It was just a bubble, not a solid asset, consolidated. It was just hype, or let's say a big scam, a legal scam, right? Because I am 100% sure that people who let it go were the ones who made the most profits. Okay, so very interesting stuff. This is solid, let's say, foundation evidence on how people behave. And as we do know right now, the sun is still into consolidation mode. It is not on its road to minimum or Maunder minimum, if that's the proper name. Okay, so it's already 21 minutes. Oh, this is, it's insane. It's almost impossible to make a short video, but I'll try to be as fast as possible, okay? So here we have total tree on the upper left. On the upper right, we have the dollar index, Dixie, which if you flip, you have euro against the dollar. I already explained this to you guys. Here we have XRP below, and here we have Tether dominance, okay? I already explained this, why we are using, why right now, the connection, the synergy, and all this stuff, okay? So, in the last videos, I went chart by chart and showed you guys evidence, not opinion, but evidence on why things are bullish and not bearish, right? So what I'm going to do right now is put all of it together so you guys can have a much better perception and make your mind and draw your own conclusions, because the focus of this channel, these videos, first is to leave everything that I'm doing documented for the future. And secondly, for you guys to see how I see. Okay, I'm just sharing what I do. You don't have to agree. You don't have to follow me. It is what I see. Just that. Okay. Most of the times I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong. That's life. Nobody can be 100% accurate. But if you guys been following my previous forecasts, you guys can see that I pretty much nailed almost everything so far, and that there is still many forecasts going on right now. Okay, that will still be a hit. So first we are going to start with Ichimoku, then we are going to move the averages. Okay, so let's go with Ichimoku in each single one. So here on the left we have risky assets, total tree, crypto market excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, and here we have XRP, the underdog. XRP is the reason behind this crypto experience. Today, it may not be clear for most people out there, but in the near future, it will be late, but people will understand. Okay, it is understandable that people have a hard time to accept changes, because some people will behave, especially the average Joe, like the team that I support, it is better than yours. There is this emotional attachment that people hold dear to it, and that's wrong. Okay, so we have to look into the fundamentals, not into the heart. But that's a different talk, right? So I'm just talking my mind, and about this thing about XRP, it is my opinion today. Okay, in the near future, we are going to see if it is a fact or not. But by the steps of Ripple and XRP, we are going very, very close and very, very fast. Okay, so total tree. This is a bullish trend. Okay, Ishimoku is telling this is completely bullish. Okay, when we look into XRP, what Ishimoku tell us, and I told you guys this in advance, way in advance, even before 50 cents. This is a bullish trend. We are about to see continuation. Things are looking healthy. This is not the end. This is correction, consolidation before continuation. Here we have the dollar index. What we have here, it's a bearish trend. If we zoom out, monthly, weekly, 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, whatever, what we are going to see, it's a bearish trend. And I already explained it to you guys within details. We can have a bullish trend into equities, stocks, risk assets, and also a bullish trend in currencies. They don't match. This is a law. Will never happen. For little times we can see a confluence, but not an attachment or a connection. Okay? So it's a bearish trend. The dollar index is in a bearish trend, and the euro is in a bullish trend, but it's suffering. Yes, yes, even the euro in a bullish trend, it's suffering. And I have reasons to believe that this trend, it is going to change soon. But right now it is only my opinion and I don't have any proof to support my claims. That's why I'm going to wait, and when the day comes, I'll bring evidence and explain to you guys why I think this, why I believe that, so on and on and on and on. Here, following Tether, what Ishimoku tells us? That this started. It started. So notice that Tether dominance, it's way, way younger than the dollar index. And what I'm showing here to you guys that there is a change on Ishimoku reading. And this is the first time Ishimoku changed for Tether. Let me show you here just a second. You guys can see right here. So this is the first time that we had a change. See? Bullish trend. That this is what we call the trend line. I already explained to you guys how it works. When the trend line, this green line right here that moves like in the future or ahead, is the trend line. We call it trend line. When the green cloud, it's above the red one, so the red one doesn't even exist, but it's right here below. Okay, it's like a threshold. It's below. It's completely healthy and bullish trend. Okay, now observe how it goes. Completely bullish, right? Then start to pay attention what started to happen in after December 2020. It started to challenge, let's call the trend, because the trend line started to cross the clouds. It's like a challenge or a test. But here, let me show you something else. This wasn't bearish at all because we had what? A complete bullish continuation setup right here. That was a clue that crypto was about to go down. Okay? So we knew this. Right. Then a second challenge, then no challenge at all, and then where we are right now. I call this a top reversal. And if you guys pay attention here, so let me remove the cloud because it's noise. It appears to be something bullish, but in reality, there is no bullishness here at all. It was a fake bull right here. Probably to really to deceive people who only trust the patterns. It was basically the same structure that we had before on bullish continuation. If you take this only into patterns consideration, anyone could solve a bullish triangle here, and I'm going to show it to you right now. That's why we have to be very, very dangerous or cautious with patterns and when we draw lines. So these days, the last thing that I'm doing is drawing lines out of the blue. Okay, so ask yourself, how many people would look at this and say this was bearish? I can tell you guys that only a few will do this. Let's call this bearish. I remember from years and years ago, probably from 2018-19, that Ethereum had a similar behavior. We knew it was going down, and it did went down. And we have trade history about back in the day when we were trading. So we still have all the trades record in a room about all this, everything that we did back in the day. And also, not only the trade record, because I'm not trading anymore, as you guys know. We had, so one of the things, one of the beauties about the Champions Club is that we could go into the past, look into a specific trade. So for example, Ethereum short or Ethereum long, and then you can research about the private updates that are recorded back in that day, explaining why this, why that, the fundamentals, why it's looking like this, it's looking like that. And I don't even know if some of the members, like we have almost 120 members, are doing this. Because for those who are willing to learn, it's a masterclass. Because we are going to learn from the things that we did right and also for the things that we did wrong. The trade record back in the day was insane. Back in the day was nuts, was really nuts. But what I learned is that my accuracy while trading was around 76%, if I'm not wrong. It's amazing, right? But you only learn when you make mistakes, because it's only when you make mistakes you are going to stop, think about that, do your work, work some numbers, and then come back. So you can do this, by being fast, very, let's agile, or you just can take more time, be more conservative. There are multiple ways to work with this, the learning process, So I call this a top reversal, and now was right. And now we have, if I don't remember this one here. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but after, right at the moment that I saw this, I don't remember if it was before or right after. So please forgive me if I made the mistake about the timing, okay? But this is 100% bearish. No news about it. No news. And also, from what I remember from my memory, we also had something similar with XRP and XLM as well, not long ago. Okay, so down to the pattern, the structure, Ichimoku, it's 100% bearish. There is no denial. There is a confirmation from Ichimoku alone that this is bearish trend. Okay, so some people could ask this, for example, well, what about a change? What if it appears to be a bear, but then it comes bullish? It doesn't make any sense because you don't have any proof. So it would be hope that something changes or morph into something else to support your idea or your emotions. And also we talked about this long ago about the power of suggestion, which is something very, very dangerous. If you hold dear to a mistake, you are not going to let that go by any chance. You are going to sink with the boat, and even when the boat is sinking, you will still be saying that the boat's safe. So it's very, very dangerous. Now, we just talked about Ichimoku, and now I'm going to show you guys the moving averages that it seems people only like to use these indicators that I personally don't use. It is just for you guys to see and for educational purposes, okay? We are always talking about trends, but how many people out of this 100% can even understand what a trend is? It is just like the same thing that we just talked about the fear greed index. Everybody like to talk about that, but how many people out of this 100% can understand how it works, right? So let's move on with the moving averages. And this dashed line here is the Aldebaran tool, okay? I use it with the perpetual setup that you guys are not being able to see here in public videos. It's intellectual property. That's why I'm not sharing public, okay? So I use it with the perpetual setup to see what others can't see. But it's I don't create walls, okay? I always explain, but I just don't jump into these details, okay? So the moving averages. Let's start with the ones in the left that are the ones into a bullish trend, okay? What we have with total tree, which represents once again the crypto market excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. We have a bullish trend. Is anybody even able to call this a bear market or a bearish trend, that this is over, without any solid basis? No. Against facts, there are no arguments. Zero, pointless. No, nothing, absolutely nothing. The charts and the fundamentals explain themselves alone. They don't need me to translate it. Okay? So facts are facts, opinions are opinions. XRP. How people dare to say that this is over, this is a top, this is a reversal. Once again, for XRP, what Ichimoku alone is saying? It's a completely monster, healthy, bullish trend. What we see here, it's continuation, not degeneration. It's crystal clear. There is no evidence to support bearish calls. And all those buffoons out there trying to make fun out of people like they are the smartass in the room, they are going to feel the worst shame in their whole lives. And that is an old forecast that I made long ago about a witch hunt that is going to happen very, very soon. Yet another forecast. So, completely health, bullish, monster, incredible. There is nothing bearish here at all. At all. And I'm using tools that I don't use daily. I'm using the tools that they like to use. I'm using their view to show that they are wrong. Now, let's go to the other side. What we have here on the dollar. And pay attention that I try to match the same year, okay? 23, 23, almost 24, 24, 25, almost 26. I try to frame them into almost the same picture, okay? Here, the moving averages. Well, what we have here, it's completely the opposite on what we have on Total Tree and XRP. And the fundamental here is 100% correct, because in order for one to be bullish, the other has to be bearish. They can't have the same nature. That is the law that will never change. Okay? And if we add Ichimoku, it's also another confirmation. So we have multiple confirmations, even only by structures, just by eye reading. It's 100% bearish. 100. Now let's take a look into Tether. That is the antagonist of Total Tree. Right? Let's take a look at what we have here. Holy Moses! We have death crosses everywhere. So we don't have death crosses into bullish markets, bullish assets. That's not what the book teaches. And by the way, that's why I don't like the books about technical analysis at all. So just pay attention, folks. For one to be bullish, the other has to be bearish. And for the other to be bullish, the other has to be bearish. Or perhaps, for a bear reading, for one to be bullish, the other has to be bearish, like yin and yang. For one to be bullish, the other has to be bearish. Can you guys see what else we needed to understand what is going on? What is necessary for people to stop holding dear to emotions and start to look into facts? When people are going to stop and say, okay, that's enough. I had enough. I'm going with the flow. I'm shaking with the water to one side, to the left, to the right, to the north, to the south. And stop and say, this is enough. I am done. It is time for me to make a change, to stop. I can't live like this, like that. It is a time for change, folks. And we are running short on time. This event, it is going to be a unique event. Or let's say, one of the last in a long time that we are going to see. And right after, things are going to be very ugly. Very ugly. But not today, not tomorrow, not next week, nor next month. Excuse me. Okay, all these things being said, forgive me, folks. My throat's killing me. I will adjust the charts, drink some water, and I'll be back in just a few seconds. Okay, folks, I'm back. Here in the left, we have what? We have XRP. And here on the right, what we have? Tether dominance. So we could use, please forgive me, folks, we could use Bitcoin dominance, which is one of the antagonists, but it is not necessary for this example. Oh, just give me a second, I kick the box. So, remember the nature. For one to be bullish, the other has to be bearish. That's the law, right? Now let's go and take a closer look. So this is the 4 hours. No. This is the weekly chart, which appears to be even the same, with the same bearish nature. Now let's jump into the 4, because that's the right way to read this. Oops, made a mistake. Okay, here we are. So this is the final leg or set of pivots for Tether before it goes like collapsing down. Okay, I don't know exactly the time, but that's why I'm talking about the bullseye, because I want to do this. And I want to prove all those bears without a reason and fundamentals that they are going to piss off a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to lose money because of that. A lot of people. You guys don't even imagine. It's really a lot of people. So first thing we have to acknowledge, it's Wednesday 29, which is right after the Fed decision, and they are going to cut interest rates, probably 0.25 again. And now we have another event. For one, it is going to be bullish. And for other, it has to be bearish. It can't be bullish for both or bearish for both. It is impossible. 0% chances, will never happen. Okay? So, one of the things that we talked about time and time again, and I bring this to you guys long ago, is almost all of the times, or let's say the majority of times, when we have empty bodies like this, what it is common for the crypto market to behave? to trade back inside that emptiness, rejection. But this is a pattern, not a standard. And that's one of the reasons it is the perfect scenario to create traps, even for those who still don't understand how this works, that have no idea, uh, let's say, the occurrence, the frequency that it is, the rate that this is happening. Okay? So, XRP stopped right here, very close to where it was before this massive move, which we have different numbers for different exchanges, and it was a local liquidity problem. Okay, so for example, some exchanges reached even lower numbers. Okay, so these numbers can't be trusted because right now everything is adjusted, even before, right after, before. We know how it works. And also long ago I explained to you guys, if I just buy, like, let's say, millions and millions of coins out of the market moment, I can print a monster candle, then it is going to go back 100% back to the market index or the index price. That's how it works. There's no news. Okay, so Tether, in the other hand, did exactly what we just talked about right here, which is to trade back inside previous rejection. Translating, previous rejection. And by the way, just for you guys to see, you will understand. Just a second. Take a look. This, it is not bullish continuation. This is bearish continuation, bearish rejection. These lines aren't support or resistance. I have property to tell you guys how it works. I do have. Okay? And you guys know that I probably never ever, since I became a professional, I used this approach of support and resistance because, in my opinion, it's flawed. Okay, leads to more mistakes than gains. Okay, so yeah, let's go. So the rejection, action inside the rejection, and right now we are starting to see lower highs. It appears to be a bullish triangle, just like that big one here on Tether that we saw, that appeared to be bullish, but in reality was a top reversal disguised as bullish continuation. Take a look here. If we go from the book, playing by the book, like Peter LeBrun liked to do, we are going to be 100% wrong here. 100. Not even 90, 80, 70, 100. No mistake. No mistake. Zero. Zero chances to be wrong here. Take a look at this. This, some people would say, well, this is a peanut. Okay, what else? Can you guarantee that a peanut itself, excluding all the fundamentals behind it, the market momentum, interest rate cuts, the Fed switching from quantitative tightening into quantitative easing again, it is going to make the dollar stronger or weaker? Of course, weaker. And when the dollar is weaker, what is time to do? It is time to invest. It is not time to hold cash. This is not financial advice. This is only for educational purposes only. Here I'm talking to you guys about something that you are not going to learn in the school. You are not going to learn, let's say, in a, a web program. Okay, so this is something that you only learn from very specific people at specific places. this kind of knowledge, even though appears to be something simple, it is not something that most people that lived like 80, 90, 100, 110 years ever heard about or would even heard about. Okay? So, this, once again, appears to be bullish, but this is a trap. The final leg, the final set of pivots, it's a absolutely disgusting trap for those. And remember, what we have right now, let me bring it to you right here. Just once again, one more time. What we have here, people scared, people afraid, right? What we have here, so this is inverted, okay? Remember, this is a bearish trend. People are bearish about, let me do this so you guys can understand the correlation that is inverted. This one here is the one people are afraid, bearish. And this one here is the one that people are bullish about. It's inverted, folks. Bearish here, bullish here. Bear trap. Bear trap is the bull trap is here. No, it's the bear trap. Now I inverted it. Even my brain just flipped it right now. This is nuts. Let me think. Just give me a second. It's too much information. There is a lot. It seems my mouth is speaking ahead of my brain. God damn it. The bear trap, it's here. Here's the bear trap. And here we have the bull trap. Exactly. Yes, that's the correct reading because people are bearish about bullish continuation and not the contrary. Okay? So just forgive me for this. It's just a lot of information. Imagine. I strongly recommend for guys to make a brief pause or take notes, then come back, watch the video again, not only to be informed, but I do believe that you may learn something out of this. Okay? So, let me show you now XRP, what we have into XRP in the other side. Okay? There are multiple ways to do this, but this is a simplistic way that I like. And if there is doubt, we could do like a step-by-step process and just try to be as much accurate as possible, even with the help of moving zigzag lines or Ishimoku, whatever. I really don't like it. I prefer volume delta, which appears to be way more accurate. Okay, or some of you guys even still use unbalanced volume, which I don't believe it's reliable these days. But who am I? Maybe some of you guys have a better reading. Okay, but it is what it is, or just the volume or whatever you want to use it. Okay, so right now, pay attention. Right now, XRP have fully developed two sets of pivots. Okay, two sets of pivots. There is one that can be underway or not. Why I'm saying this? So let's do the contrary. How the average person would look into this, because since 2019, late 2019, we don't have patterns and perfect outcomes like we had in the past. Things changed. We don't have symmetry, crystal clear scenarios, clear pictures like we used to have in the past. In the past, it was a piece of cake to make money while trading. That's the best time I had in my life. So that's how it goes. Oops, for the average person, or even Peter LeBrun. And then they're going to call this the break already. But there is no break here because this is still lower high, lower high, lower high, higher high. Okay, so Yeah, so previous high, lower high, marginal, close to each one. So it's like at the same level. So there is no higher or lower. This is only the previous high that we have in this range. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Not important. And then one can say, well, this is a break. But there is no validation for this triangle here, folks. That's why I'm not using lines like this like before. That's why I prefer the standard method for the proper reading. Yes, there is a meaning behind it. Secret meaning. I already explained this many times, but I'm not going to do it again. You see that I did it wrong? Muscle memory? Just because I used the lines, I just did the standard mode method wrong. So you guys just saw this. It's this is crazy, right? Sometimes we're going to even do some mistakes and not even pay attention. And right now I'm just having a really hard time. This is crazy. Okay, paying attention again. Focus. Okay. What is the dashed bar? It's the Fed pivot, or the pivot already started, just the Fed continuation or interest rate cuts, more money, cheap money, quantitative easing at hand, all these things. Now we have a dilemma at hand. Okay? Is the magic going to happen before? I mean, starting to move strongly before, what the heck? Before, right at, or just right after? Because we have little volatility right now. Literally, uh, little. Okay, so a big move has to happen very soon. Okay, so the only doubt that I have right now is when it is going to happen, because I wanted to know if it is possible to know the day. Okay, so first hand for you guys, actually second hand because the first is on the Champions Club. But what I shared with my companions, that we do know that on the weekends, it's likely, most of the times, like 70% plus of the times, to see corrections on the weekend, right? So my thought right now is that we could see something like this. Let me go down just a bit, get ready, and then bang. Or scenario B, that is the fake outs that usually happen to clear traders before going to the direction that they were expecting. So they're wiping out people who are absolutely right. And that's why, because we have a golden rule now, it's something new, like 1 year or so, I don't even remember, entry at liquidation. That's all I'm going to say, not financial advice. If you want to learn more, ask about more information, how to join the Champions Club. You guys do know that I don't like to promote the Champions Club. I do it like 2 or 3 times the whole year. And one time it is just at the Black Friday. And that's all. I do 3 years, 3 times a year. It's like almost nothing. Okay. But so another possibility is to just wipe this previous pivot right here and create a new one. The bullishness would still be the same. The bullish scenario would be the same, no change, just a set of pivots that change it, that could change from here through here. Just a change. Buys time. If the asset's not ready, they buy time, they make time. Okay, so we saw this over and over, time and time again. And again, it is not a law, but it's a pattern. So one way or the other, I will tell you guys, I'm not going to make any call right now because I don't know. I am in doubt. What I do know is that this is bullish. What I don't know is if it is going to just pop from now or after the weekend. Wish I knew and wish I could have recorded this before. Sadly, I couldn't because I had a lot of things to do today. So it would be like frustrating for me for it to happen right now. Wish I would release, but yeah, so the sooner I release this video, the better. So please forgive me. I don't want to take you guys much time. It's 1 hour. Damn, this is crazy. Yeah, so folks, we have one bull in one side and a bear in the other. This is undeniable, and we have plenty of proofs in the charts, off the charts, to support those claims. So the charts are making the claims. It is not the guy who is behind the screen that's reading the charts, okay? I read what is here, not speculation, not whatever. And oh boy, what's XRP about to do? Okay, let's just take a closer look into volume delta and I will let you guys go. Oh boy, we have the funnel here. Oh, we do have it. I will just upload this video because I do believe we are maybe running out of time. I'm not sure. If this is going to happen next week, the better because we are going to have an opportunity. But, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm excited and hyped just like I told you guys this morning. Okay, so guys, this is it. I hope this video helped you guys, that you guys are enjoying. Don't forget to smash the like button, share with your friends, subscribe, ring the bell, all this stuff. Share with the neighbor, the cat, the your boss, you know, your ex-girlfriend, to your enemies. Share because at least one person or two we can reach and help to end up this madness to believe that something bullish, it's bearish. This is probably kind of a Pokemon, right? Oh, is this a little cute thing? Then it turns into a monster, and then it's over. Please don't fall into this Pokemon view of things because it's disconnected from reality. Okay, so I really hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys very soon. Stay safe. See ya.